Hey y'all, so before I get this video started, let me give a quick shout out. These were the first 3 comments in my last video. If you want to be featured in my next video, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell and come show me some love when I drop a new video. What's up, you guys? It's KeAmber Vaughn, aka CoachKe, coming back to you with another video. If you are new to my channel, welcome, and if you're not new, welcome back. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and also tap the bell so that you are notified of every new video that I post. So as you guys can tell by the title of this video, we are going to be talking about all of my different bank accounts. I have a lot of them. Because I am a finance/budgeting channel, I get the questions all the time regarding my accounts. How many accounts do you have? Who do you bank with? Why do you have so many accounts? Do you only have a mini emergency fund and true emergency fund? Where do you keep your sinking funds? These are questions that I always answer in the comment section. However, recently I did come across Alena Maze's video about all of her different bank accounts and why she needs so many accounts, and I thought to myself, I should do the same exact video. So here it is. So I have everything on a sticky note to make sure that I don't forget anything. Now, bank account number 1 is my main account, and this is a Bank of America checking account. This is basically where all of my paychecks from my nursing job go into, and also what I get my YouTube paychecks into as well. This is my main account. Now, before I used to use my credit card for all of my purchases and just only pay the bill in full every 2 weeks. Before I used to actually do that, I used to just consistently use my debit card for everything. And back in December of this past year, so almost a full year, I decided, you know what, why not just do everything with a credit card, get points and different things like that, which we will talk about that a little bit later. But that is bank account number 1. Now, I know a lot of people have different qualms about Bank of America and a lot of the other big banks because, oh, well, they have fees and stuff like that. To be honest with you guys, I've had this account for I don't even know how many years, well over 5 or 6 years. I've never gotten one fee assessed on my account outside of like international fees from me purchasing things from people overseas or something like that. Outside of that, I've never gotten any fees. You guys, the reality is when it comes to any bank account, all you have to do is look at what you have to do to not get assessed fees and you'll be fine. So with the particular account that I have with Bank of America, because I get a direct deposit of, I think it's more than $250 per month, there's no monthly fees. That's simple. So the next set of accounts has to do with my LLC. So if you are new to my channel, I actually used to be very heavy into network marketing. And it wasn't until a couple of years ago that I really realized that really wasn't the life for me, I guess you can say. And I've reached top earner status in multiple companies. I helped to start a company. But the reality was that even though I love helping people, I don't like helping people on a one-to-one basis. That's why you guys see my budgets once a month. That is why eventually I might get into budget consulting, but having to interact with people on a very personal one-to-one basis was just a lot. Having teams of over 800-900 people, a lot of people having my phone numbers, calling me all times a day, it just was too much for me, okay? But as that income started to dwindle and I started to get back into nursing, I did want to make sure that I was no longer really living off of that money, because now I live off of my nursing income. So when you guys see me do my budgets on a monthly and bi-weekly basis, that is strictly based off of my nursing income and then the small YouTube check that I have. And I wanted to keep it that way because even though I do sell courses and I sell planners and stuff like that, and that money does flow through, I do not want to live off of that money. So I live off of my nursing income. Everything that flows through my LLC business accounts, it literally recycles itself and stays there. Now, at some point, I am going to have my trading income going into my LLC. And then as that trading income takes over my nursing income, I will still work as a nurse, but eventually I will pay myself a salary out of that LLC money. So I have my business income completely separate, and I have not touched that income in years at this point. So let's talk about the credit union accounts for my business. The first one is a credit union checking account. And this is the account that everything from my merchants, when I'm getting paid from selling courses and different things like that, everything flows through that particular account. It's just like a regular personal checking account for me. The third account is, and it's the second one for my business, is a savings for the credit union. And this one is a savings for taxes. So eventually every single paycheck that I have coming through there, there's a little bit still coming from network marketing. I haven't built a network marketing business in multiple years at this point, but there's still a little bit of money that comes through there. So when that money comes through, when money comes through for courses and different things like that, I literally take 20% of that and I put it off into my tax savings. And that is why when I talk about my sinking funds on a monthly basis, there has been times where I let people know, especially during tax time, like, this is not my only tax account. I do have quite a bit of money in my business tax account as well. And that's just a buffer so that, you know, when I have to pay my taxes at the end of every year, which this past year was the first year I've gotten a refund literally since my very first year of filing taxes. But I just have that there because I was somebody that when I was heavily into debt, I did have tax debt, and I never want to get to that point again. Account number 4, which is the third business account, is another savings account. And this one is specifically for my planners. So because my planners are the only physical item that I sell, and because it's something that I have to re-up on inventory every so often, I make sure that whenever I have money coming in from a planner, so when I sell a planner, it's usually, I think it's $61.20 including shipping. What I end up doing is, let's say the shipping was exactly $11.20. That means that after I ship that item off to that customer, I have $50 left. That $50 I literally put into that planner savings so that once it's time for me to re-up on my inventory, I don't have to take it out of my checking. I don't have to, you know, try to take it out of my tax savings or something. All of that money is there. So all of my planner money gets funneled into one specific account. I don't take 20% or anything off the top of that to put into tax savings. I literally have all of my planner money in one particular account. So now we're going to go back into personal accounts. Those are all of my business accounts at this point. Account number 5 is my mini emergency fund. Now for me, a mini emergency fund is $3,000. A lot of different personal finance gurus or teachers or whatever you want to call them, they do say that a lot of times your mini emergency fund is just $1,000. But for me, I learned from a different millionaire outside of the popular one in this space. I learned that a mini emergency fund should be $3,000, and that is what I have. Now, all of my savings accounts and sinking funds I do have with Ally. I talk about this in all of my sinking funds updates that I do on a monthly basis. And at this point, Ally, I think, is only like a 0.6% APY. And when I first started with them, I can't remember what it was, but it did get as high as about 2.4%, if I'm not mistaken, before the pandemic happened. So we're still kind of sliding down because I did just get an update like maybe last week that the interest rate went down again. And I'm hoping it doesn't continue. However, when I did used to have my Bank of America savings years ago, it never went past 0.01%. So I still take 0.6% any day. Account number 6 is another emergency fund. This one is the True Emergency Fund. Your True Emergency Fund should be about 6 months worth of expenses for you. Now, there are different ways that you can do it. Some people include their fixed expenses and their average variable expenses. Some people only do variable. Some people only do fixed expenses. For me, I just calculated that I'll need about $9,000 over the course of 6 months to kind of take care of myself. If and when, I guess you could say, I decide to finally move out of my mom's house, I will go ahead and beef that up a little bit, but I don't think that I'll need, honestly, more than about $12,000 in a true emergency fund. I do live in a low cost of living area, and even when I had the townhouse that I had a couple of years ago, I had a 2-bedroom, 1.5 bath townhouse with a basement and everything. My rent was only about $810 at the time, and even after utilities and after, you know, having money for groceries and stuff like that, I know that I can keep myself under $2,000 a month. So 2,000 times 6 is 12,000. I think I can pretty much play it safe there. However, right now I do have just a little over $9,000. The bit that's over that is just interest that I've earned over time. Account number 7, now we're getting into the sinking funds. And let me tell you why this is crazy. I remember when I first got into budgeting on YouTube and seeing people with all these different sinking funds, I'm like, I'm never gonna be that girl. However, They say never because I became one of those girls. But I do my sinking funds a little bit different. I think the reason why I had such a I don't know about that type of notion about sinking funds is because a lot of people in this space have sinking funds where they're putting like $10 a month in there, or $15 a month in there. And it's just like, okay, if I'm saving $10 a month for Christmas to have $120, baby, I make enough money to just say, hey, this month I'm spending $120 on such and such. So that wasn't really something that I personally wanted to do, just putting a little bit of money every single month. I just figured it's just tedious for no reason. However, the sinking funds that I have, I do contribute quite a bit of money to on a monthly basis, except certain months where I'm like, okay, well, I want to put money in my investment account, which is what I've been doing the last couple of months. So my first sinking fund is my miscellaneous / investment sinking fund. This is money that I am using for future investments, and like it says, miscellaneous things that cost a lot of money. So for instance, recently I had to buy a new computer. I decided to get another gaming computer because my previous computer was a gaming computer as well. Now it did help that I did get a tax refund this past year, which I was not expecting whatsoever. However, my computer, after I paid for, I think, a 3-year warranty, was about $2,700, almost $2,800. Now that was way more than my tax refund. So what I did was I took the remaining amount of money out of my miscellaneous / investment sinking fund. This is an investment for me. I use this computer mainly to trade. I do some YouTube stuff as well on here. So this was an investment. That's why it came out of that account. There's other things where I've taken the money out of there, like investing in trading courses and stuff like that. So when I put money into my savings, I specifically put the bulk of my savings money in my miscellaneous / investment sinking fund, because I think that the more you invest in yourself, the faster you can get to where you want to be. You can't get where you want to be knowing what you know. You have to gain more knowledge, whether that's through courses that you have to pay for, free courses, whatever. For me, investing in myself is one of the most important things, and that is why that account typically stays the highest out of all of my sinking funds. Account number 8 is my tax sinking fund. So I told you guys earlier in the video that I do have that business tax account or whatever, and all of that is money that funnels through my LLC. However, like I told you guys, my YouTube income does come to my personal account. So because of that, I do take the 20% off the top of that, and that goes into my tax sinking fund. And then the small Amazon checks that I get here and there, $20 here, $50 there, I do take 20% off the top of that and put that into my tax sinking fund. Now, even though I did get a refund this past year, and even though I have quite a bit of money between both of my tax accounts, I do still want to continue to pay my 20% into those accounts, or just in case. I'd rather that account continue to grow than me stop and then at some point I owe taxes and I owe more than what I have in these particular accounts. So that is account number 8. Account number 9 is a medical sinking fund. Now I am a pretty healthy individual, so outside of going to the doctor like once a year for checkups, I don't really go to the doctor. However, at one point I did not have medical insurance because I was completely self-employed, and because with my nursing job I am a contractor, I have to have my own insurance. So I do go through the marketplace, and this year is the first year that I've been in. Actually, I think I might have been insured last year as well. I was last year as well, but I know there were a couple of years where I wasn't, and just being young and dumb, like, oh, you know, nothing's gonna happen to me. However, I did have a situation where I needed to go to the doctor, and it cost me a lot of money. And even though when you're self-pay, they do typically give you like a 65 to 75% discount, it still was a lot of money that came out of my account for that. So because of that, I started to put money in a medical sinking fund. Now I did recently, probably like this entire year, I stopped contributing to that. I think I have about $3,500 in that account at this point. I probably will start saving a little bit more money towards that, but I do know that I have more than my yearly deductible in there, which was the most important thing for me. As long as I have enough money for my yearly deductible, as well as, you know, different co-pays and stuff like that, I'm just fine. I still haven't been to the doctor. I'm just fine. I will be going pretty soon for my yearly checkup though. Account number 10 is a travel sinking fund. So usually when I'm contributing to my sinking funds on a monthly basis, I do the tax account when I get paid from YouTube and or Amazon, and then I put money into my miscellaneous sinking fund, which usually I put 50% of my savings in there, and then I split the other 25 and 25 off between my travel sinking fund and then the next sinking fund we're going to talk about. For me, travel is very important. I used to travel a lot when I was a top earner in different network marketing companies. However, like I said, that's not my life anymore. I don't want it to be. You can't pay me to go back to that life personally. It's just me. But travel is still important for me. And so what I like to do is I like to save 25% of my savings, put that into a travel sinking fund. And usually what I use that account for is paying for my flights and my hotels. What I have for spending money when I'm actually on that trip, I actually pull that out of my typical budget because I don't really spend a whole lot of money when I'm on vacation anyway. I'm someone who likes to find different things to do that don't cost a whole lot of money. But if I do want to go, you know, somewhere and spend $40 for an aquarium or something like that, I can absolutely pull that out of my budget without having to pull it out of my savings. So that's what I use my travel sinking fund for. Hotels and flights. Account number 11 is a car sinking fund. Now, depending on when you're watching this video, I could be 2.5 years 100% debt free. I'll actually hit that in November 2020. But once I became debt free, I thought it was very important for me to have an account specifically for my car, for car maintenance, you know, oil changes, stuff like that. But with me having a Volkswagen, of course, when I start hitting certain higher mileage, then my maintenance costs are usually over $1,000. So I always wanted to make sure I had enough money in the account for that. And then, you know, whenever I need new tires and stuff, any big expenses will come out of there. The only thing that really doesn't come out of my car sinking fund that has to do with my car is just, you know, everyday gas. And then, of course, at some point, I might also need to completely replace my car once my car is no longer drivable. So I wanted to make sure that if the time came for that, I had enough cash in my account to be able to buy a decent car cash. I guess, you know, once you become 100% debt free and you don't owe anybody, you don't ever want to have to go back to that life unless it's for a mortgage. But even then I'm like, So for me, I just wanted to make sure that I never went back into debt because I didn't have enough money to replace my car. So that is why we have the car sinking fund. Account number 12 is my Ally checking account. And I strictly use this account just to transfer money from my Bank of America checking to my Ally savings. So my Zelle accounts that I have on both of those, the one that's with Ally is attached to my Ally checking account. That's literally all I use that money for, is just to shift money from here to there and everywhere. That's it. My last account, account number 13, is not really a bank account. However, like I told you guys earlier in the video, Alicia did include a similar account. For her, she included her credit card because she uses it for cash back. I do not have I do have a cashback credit card. However, I don't use it. I specifically use one of the Southwest credit cards because I like accumulating points that I can use for free travel later on. Cashback I don't really care about it enough to care about that part, but the travel points I do. So at this point, I've had the credit card and using it for all of my everyday expenses for it's about 9 months now, and I have enough points to be able to pay for about 2 round trips plus one way. That's really important for me because like I told you guys earlier, I like to travel. So accumulating those points for that is really important for me. And that's that. So those are the 13 bank accounts that I have. We got Bank of America, we got some credit union in there, and then we have an online account with Ally, and then like I said, my Chase credit card. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it was informative. If you guys have any questions whatsoever, of course, feel free to leave them down below. Please thumbs up this video, subscribe if you haven't already, but other than that, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.